This content is brought to you by the workshop experience where insight meets implementation. Today's conversation is only the beginning. It's drawn from a larger workshop inside our private leadership community. Each workshop culminates in a ready-to-deploy digital toolset, interactive dashboards, forecasting models, workflow automations, stakeholder maps, diagnostics, sales assets, project management frameworks, mini CRMs, an ever-expanding arsenal designed for immediate, real-world impact. These tools are released under our sister brand, Ascend Intelligence, Beyond Business Intelligence. Built directly on Google Cloud Platform and Google Workspace, Ascend Intelligence delivers enterprise-grade reliability, security, and AI-powered analytics, giving you a strategic edge from day one. If today's topic resonates with you, know that the full workshop is already on our shelf or slated for release, and we can open it to you on request. Reach out and claim the Ascend Intelligence tool that turns today's ideas into tomorrow's results.
Magus, a whisper through the void. Catalyst, igniting change, one spark at a time. Media, shaping worlds, telling truths. And now the story begins.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something really fundamental, not just events, but attitude.
Yeah, that's right. And we mean attitude in a specific way here, don't we? Not just like your mood.
Exactly. We're talking about that deep conditioned posture, how you orient yourself, mind and body, towards reality.
It's your default stance, almost preconscious, how you automatically face things like threat or power, time pressure, loyalty questions, risk, even how you see yourself.
It basically answers the question, when the world pushes, what do I instinctively move toward or pull away from?
Right. And it's sensory, it's embodied, you feel it, it's consistent too. And often it gets forged in moments of real existential stress, fracture points.
Okay, so let's make that distinction clear. Our sources stress this isn't the same as a belief like power should be shared.
Or a value, like saying loyalty is important.
Right. An attitude, in this sense, is more like, if I sense betrayal, I cut ties. Instantly. No hesitation. See the difference? One's a thought, the other's a reflex.
Exactly. And we're really zeroing in today on what the material calls a core attitude, that governing reflex dictating what you risk, what you put up with, what you fight, what you ignore.
And crucially, what you bow to or refuse to bow to.
And the core attitude we're really digging into is unyielding, using Julius Caesar as our main case study.
Unyielding. Okay, so what does that mean practically?
Well, it's a posture. Think of it like a rule etched into your spine that says, fundamentally, you cannot make me give myself away.
Okay, and the sources highlight key things here. It's not just bravery, right? Or rebellion for its own sake, or about being emotional.
No, not really. It's more about stillness when threatened, not reaching for the easy offer or the compromise. It's about being willing to stand alone.
Choosing loss over bending. That's powerful.
It is. It's a refusal that happens almost beneath the skin. It means you've counted the cost beforehand. You've buried comfort. Compromise actually feels more dangerous than pain to this attitude.
So it's not about being understood necessarily.
Not primarily. It's about staying intact. That quiet power you get from refusing to trade away your integrity. It's that final internal no.
Okay, so to really get this, we need to see where it came from for Caesar, his early life.
Exactly. The sources point us right back to when he was just 15, Rome under Sulla's regime.
Let's paint that picture. What was it like then?
It was grim. Men were just disappearing, political enemies vanishing. There was this pervasive fear. Conversations were polite but tense. Laughter felt thin.
Words were like armor, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. And Caesar's family, remember, they were linked to Marius, Sulla's big rival. So their house was definitely being watched, constant scrutiny.
And then comes the demand.
The demand. Caesar is told, point blank, divorce your wife, Cornelia. Her father, Cinna, was another enemy of Sulla.
And this wasn't a suggestion.
Absolutely not. It was an order from the man holding absolute power. The threat was unspoken but crystal clear. Yield or face the consequences.
Wow. So 15 years old, how did he react? The sources describe the scene.
They do. The message is delivered. And Caesar's reaction, silence, stillness. You can almost picture him just standing there.
And inside, What's going on?
That's the crucial moment. He has this internal realization, almost physical, the text suggests. If he yielded now, he would never stop yielding.
So it wasn't just about this one divorce. It was about the precedent. The first bend is the last bend kind of thing.
Precisely. That's the core of it. He saw the pattern stretching out ahead if he gave in just this once. And that stillness under threat you mentioned earlier, we're seeing it right here.
So what did he do? He didn't just say no. Right?
No, his response was total. He left everything, his inheritance, his status, his coin, his fancy robe, his title. He walked away with nothing.
Literally living off the kindness of others, experiencing real hardship, hunger.
Yes. It wasn't strategic maneuvering, it was the embodiment of his refusal.
And then Sulla tries again, a softer approach.
He does. Sends a second message, kinder, offering a way back maybe. But Caesar, he burns it, unopened.
Wow, not for show, but like
Yeah.
a private certainty.
Exactly, severing the link. And it's during this time, living rough, that he understands. He's not just hiding out, he's training.
Training. Training what?
Training this unyielding core. The source puts it beautifully. They think I'm broken, but this is where I build the thing they'll never be able to touch. Not strength, not cunning, a rule, a law inside the body.
It's about forging that internal code.
That's it. And the internal thoughts attributed to him are intense. I will not yield, not once, not ever, not under power, not under pain. I will not bow, because if I do, it's done, because the first bend is the last.
And he whispers, I belong to no one. And he meant it.
Deeply. This hardship wasn't just endured, it was embraced. Going without heat, company, answers, developing this iron discipline.
Not complaining, not backing down, letting the discomfort carve away softness.
Yeah. Pushing himself harder when things got tough, walking farther when hungry, refusing to shiver when shelter failed. Even lying about who he was became part of owning his silence, his self-reliance.
And there's that pivotal image.
Standing barefoot in the dark, accepting the cold, thinking about those who did yield, his family name, Rome, and drawing that internal, unbreakable line.
The source argues that moment, unseen, unloved, unmoved. That was when Caesar was truly made, more than crossing the Rubicon later.
More fundamental, yes, that internal unyielding structure was built then. The Rubicon was in many ways just an inevitable consequence of that earlier choice.
Okay, so let's talk about the Rubicon then. 49 BCE, this core attitude in action on a grand scale.
Definitely. The scene. Rain stopped, it's muddy, the soldiers are silent. And there's this river, the Rubicon. Not huge, but symbolically massive.
Because crossing it with an army meant
War, open defiance of Roman law. It meant choosing to break the world, essentially, rather than bend to the Senate's demands.
And Caesar's there at the edge. He's got his legions, but he's fundamentally alone in this decision, isn't he?
In essence, yes, self-reliant. The Republic had thrown out offers, compromises, terms that could have saved his skin if he'd just backed down, given up his command.
But for someone with this attitude, compromise isn't really on the table, is it? Yielding isn't partial.
Not for him. Not after that first refusal. And you see the contrast with his officers. They're nervous. They know the history, the power of Pompey and the Senate. They feel the weight of it.
But Caesar isn't just calculating odds at this point.
The source suggests he's remembering that demand to divorce Cornelia, remembering the hunger, the cold, the decision made years ago. It's drawing on that established core.
Because he just steps
into the river. Simple as that. No thunderclap, no immediate divine sign. He just keeps walking.
He's moved beyond needing permission.
Entirely. And the men follow, not necessarily because of a booming order right then, but because of loyalty built over time in smaller moments where he showed that same consistency. They trusted his stance.
So the difference maker here isn't just strategy or ambition, it's stance. That ingrained, unyielding nature.
That's the argument. And as he moves towards Rome, there's no justification, no pleading his case. He just moves.
And that internal thought. The line inside him was drawn long before this river. He just chose not to cross that line again.
Exactly. Unyielding here isn't louder, it's deeper. A fundamental resolve.
And his march? How is it described?
Quiet certainty. He's ahead of the column, but not for show. Just leading from the front, no looking back, not much talking, just rhythmic steps, purposeful.
And when Pompey's envoy shows up,
he basically ignores them, rides right through the town, past officials, past the messengers. Someone hands him a scroll from the Senate. He just drops it, unread.
Won't be diverted, won't play the game.
Nope. just keeps riding through the night. And 5,000 men follow, mirroring his unyielding movement.
It's a powerful image, the conclusion being,
Unyielding doesn't posture or demand. It moves, it acts, and it dares the world to get in its way.
so that attitude, forged early on, demonstrated at the Rubicon, it didn't just define him, it reshaped Rome itself.
Absolutely. The sources picture him standing alone in the Curia, the heart of Roman power. And the point isn't just that he sees Rome, but that he refused to let it just decay further.
He bent the broken system,
Yeah.
ended the Civil War by just acting decisively.
Yes. Crossing the Rubicon, not flinching. Showing that titles, traditions, they meant little compared to that internal self-ownership.
And his governing style reflected this too.
Completely. Not like a typical king, no grand pageantry. It was fast, quiet, clean. No wasted gestures, pardoning enemies, drafting laws, all done with this almost unemotional efficiency. Even facing conspiracy, he remained unwavering.
So unyielding becomes a rhythm, like water shaping stone.
That's a good way to put it. A rhythm that reshapes stone, erodes old walls, builds new ones. The source argues his assassination wasn't because he failed, but because that very unyielding nature couldn't be controlled. They worried about a crown, but they missed that he'd essentially become the law.
The core being, you do not make me, you do not break me. I stand because I choose to stand.
That's the essence. And even in his death, enduring the stabbing, not running, not begging, not screaming, watching his assassins flinch almost, knowing perhaps that his stance had already outlasted them.
The Republic died that day, not Caesar. He became the future.
That's the claim. His legacy isn't just statues or conquests, but this model. How to stand when the wind shifts, how to breathe when allies run, how to walk into danger and leave a mark. He wasn't just the conqueror, he was the unmoved.
Okay, so to get even more practical about how this works, the sources talk about cadences. 3 cadences of unyielding. What's a cadence in this context?
It's like the characteristic rhythm of activity that supports the attitude. It's how unyielding manifests in action. And for Caesar, this wasn't static. It had these different dimensions: personal, operational, political, all demanding risk.
All right, let's break those down. First, personal cadence.
The principle here is, my will be done. Caesar did not ask, he imposed. This isn't just about deciding something. It starts way before the first step. It lives in the bones, not just the breath.
Before the world shapes you, you shape the world. That's the posture.
Exactly. Personal cadence is about actively shaping your immediate world through intentional, forceful action, like you said earlier, the stone causing ripples. You act first, with intent, setting the terms of engagement.
Not waiting for permission, setting your own rhythm.
Precisely. Aligning internal will with external action consistently.
Okay, second, operational cadence.
Principle. Strategic suffering. You intentionally select the most difficult path. And key here is intentionally.
So not just enduring hardship because you have to, but choosing it. Why?
Because it's seen as necessary for growth, for validating the path. The quote is telling. You do not suffer because you were caught. You suffer because you selected the condition that would break others.
Wow. Okay.
So operational cadence is applying your will through deliberately chosen hardship. It removes the need for external permission because you've already paid the price upfront in effort and difficulty.
Comfort is the enemy of great achievement kind of idea.
Very much so. Choosing the hard path trains you for the unpredictable challenges ahead. It builds tolerance, resilience. Think of Caesar sharing hardships with his men, choosing the tough campaigns. That built his ability to command.
It's forging yourself in the fire you choose.
Right. It's not just physical toughness. It sharpens focus, hones decision-making under pressure, makes hardship part of how you develop.
Got it. And the third one, political cadence.
This is displacement. Action that compels the environment to reorient. This is about the big moves, making decisions that cross thresholds that cause major shifts in reality and how people see things.
Like crossing the Rubicon.
Exactly. The idea is that this kind of self-displacement, committing intensely to something huge, something that fundamentally shifts your identity and position, forces the entire environment, the whole system, to reorganize around you.
So the internal shift comes first. Then the external action forces the world to react.
That's the dynamic. High-consequence founders, radical innovators, they make these kinds of moves. They commit so fully that they change who they are in the context of their field, and the field itself has to adjust.
It's not just disruption, it's fundamentally altering the game board through the sheer force of your commitment and action.
You got it. Creating a new reality because the old one just can't contain what you've become or what you've done.
Okay, so wrapping this up, digging into this unyielding attitude, these cadences,
Mhm.
it's clearly more than just history.
Oh, absolutely. Understanding this stuff isn't just about knowing facts about Caesar. It's about realizing that embodying an attitude like this is a process. It's about becoming, not just learning information.
And the potential version of yourself that has this strength, this resolve,
Yeah.
it's there, but it needs activation.
Yeah, it requires facing difficulty head on, consciously cultivating these cadences, personal, operational, political, through consistent choices day by day, taking space, not just asking for it.
So these cadences are like disciplines you can train.
That's a great way to think about it. Disciplines trained through action.
And the core, that essence of unyielding, remains. Not giving yourself away, not softening under pressure, moving through resistance until you're recognized.
It's about maintaining that internal integrity, no matter what the world throws at you.
A powerful concept, definitely.
Yeah.
Lots to think about there, hopefully giving you, the listener, some things to chew on as you navigate your own challenges. Maybe think about where these cadences might apply in your own life.